we'll jump into chapter 11, which is the Khapera mystery. So they arrive to a separate dock just for the airships. So they're coming into New Norra. As they're going out, Volk realizes that he is covered in the woodcotton, which is extremely warm in the middle of the desert. And he is essentially wearing extra layers while walking around in the extreme heat. They do some rumor milling around and realize that the Marshal of the Southern Seas is really trying to make it difficult for anything to happen within the city.
So they're actually denying these pirates and everybody else to go any further south than New Norra. So you can definitely see that things are kind of getting bottlenecked there, and basically everybody's at a standstill of what they can do and where they can go.
Vedika is extremely worried about the Khapera, which are these giant scarabs with powerful regenerative magic. Nobody has bonded with them in over 2 decades. They're kind of one of the things that New Norra is famous for. And there used to be a bonding ceremony every 2 years with them, but the ceremony isn't being held anymore. The Khapera have kind of gone missing. As they wander around the city, Volk does notice that the roofs of the city are actually color-coded.
I have to admit, this is a pretty awesome idea that they came up with to navigate throughout the city, even as a tourist. It's almost as cool as having the city laid out in Helios.
Yeah, it's another ingenious way to be able to navigate around, kind of know what district you're in, know where, what building's a shop, what building's residential. As they're going around, Volk does notice that it is almost a custom not to hide the forehead. So if somebody does have an Arcanist mark, they aren't able to hide it, as kind of we saw in some of the earlier cities as well. People would hide their foreheads and try not to reveal that they had some extra power. It seems to not be customary in New Norra, at least. Karna and Vedika go on their own to look for mystic keepers.
With how large this place is, I can only imagine how daunting this task is going to be to find these in the city, decent in the city. I know Adelgis gives me 3 thoughts and everything and can deduce where he could probably be, but it's still pretty daunting trying to find one person in a large city.
Yeah, it's tough, and you think he almost seems famous in some circles. So it seems like Adelgis might know where to go kind of poke around to hear. In the scholar library, university area, wondering if he can find him. But yeah, it's going to be tough to find a sole person in a massive city.
Thiessen is famous, and I think he's famous to some people by name, but if they ever run into him or meet him, you think he's famous for a different reason.
Yes, I don't know, not a good fame in all cases. So Bayou is frantic, going around, really wants to document everything. She feels that it's her job. She's got her giant book with her. She wants to take her notes and draw the pictures. And Delvin is really giving her a hard time. He doesn't want to have to worry about her as they're going into the city. And she's turning on as much cuteness as she can muster.
Bayou waves those puppy dog eyes at Devlin, and who can blame him? I don't think anybody can resist caving into Bayou trying to come along with them. And realistically, I think Devlin is just a giant teddy bear at heart.
Absolutely, especially when it comes to her. He's got a soft spot for her. Fain and Adelgis are going to go, like we mentioned, kind of look around for Thiessen, as difficult as a task that may be. And Joze and Volk are going to go shopping. So, like we mentioned, New Norra doesn't have restrictions on what can be bought and sold. So if you go to the right market, pretty much anything's for sale. And as they're out on their shopping spree, Volk does notice that the city starts ringing bells to pretty much warn that sunrise or sunset is coming. And Joze mentions that this is because of such extreme temperature differences. It's a warning to citizens either to get inside or just to know that the weather's going to be changing drastically over the next hour or so. Joze also takes them to a lot of the back alley shops, essentially says, hey, if you go to the main shopping area, that's the tourist destination. But all the good stuff is in the back alley. So they walk along towards some of these lesser known shops, and Volk gets to talking with him about his love life of all things.
I like that Joze is asking, hey, is there a girl or maybe a boy that you're smitten with? I think that's pretty progressive that Joze would even actually mention that. Basically, it doesn't have to be just a girl. I appreciate that.
I do. It's extremely inclusive.
I mean, I would think, though, that with Karna and the way that she talks about Volk, I imagine he probably wouldn't need to worry about one way or the other, but
he's not jumping to conclusions, but yeah, the evidence would suggest that it's more a girl than a boy. And we also, as the chapter's wrapping up, we do learn that they are not the only ones who think that the Khapera can cure the plague. The Marshal also thinks that that's a potential answer to the plague. So kind of a few different ideas floating around of where the cure can come from, and the Khapera seems to be one that's on the top of a lot of people's list.
They're said to have restorative powers, I believe, right?
Correct. Some restorative, regenerative magic.
And with that, we want to thank everybody for listening. And we want to remind everybody that we do post new episodes every Wednesday morning around 11 Eastern, 10 Central, and 8 Pacific Standard Time. We want to thank our editor, Dan Mackison, for all the amazing work that he does for us, including editing and actually putting up pictures and the links to everything in the description section for us. We just want to say thank you so much for listening. The link to the Frith Chronicles Wiki is in the description, along with the Capital Station Discord, and we look forward to seeing you guys next week.